paint peeling off them old brick signs. Folks work hard, keep their heads down, trying to hold on to better times. Used to leave your door unlocked at night. Now everybody's got a camera on. Still got faith if we get it right, we can fix what's gone wrong. Ain't about talk, ain't about show. It's about the way we live, the way we know. Let's get back to dirt roads, back to porch lights. Neighbors standing up when it ain't polite. Cold beer, hot true styles up above. A little less noise and a whole lot of love. Red, white, blue ain't a trend we chase. It's sweat on your shirt and calloused hands grace. If we're gonna stand, we don't stand apart.
Welcome into Apex News Above the Noise. I am Kyle Thompson.
And I'm Craig Blanton.
Craig, we are live here again at Creekside Studios at the Yak Shack. We have a busy Tuesday afternoon. Seems like there's always stuff popping off, and if anything comes across the wire, you and or I will break the news here.
We just got one.
All right.
Spain won their match today in the World Cup, so they're going to the finals.
All right. Well, there you go. We got a whole lot going on today, but before we get into all of it, welcome to Apex News. If you haven't been here before, we have created this entire channel and this podcast so that you can have news without the spin. If tonight gives you something to think about, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and share this, and make sure you hit that notification bell, because that way every time we go live, it will notify you in advance. And make sure you share this with someone who also needs to be above the noise. Now, let's get into tonight's big news. Tuesday began on the Strait of Hormuz with an act of direct economic violence. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps announced it had struck and disabled 2 commercial supertankers transiting the southern route of the strait this morning. It's kind of like telling on yourself, but they're enjoying doing it, whatever.
Yeah.
The UAE Defense Ministry confirmed 2 vessels were hit by missiles. 1 mariner was killed. 8 others were wounded. This is the first confirmed civilian maritime casualty of the current round of hostilities. And it comes on the same morning that President Trump announced the United States would reinstate its naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz effective 4 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. That has just happened in the last hour. In a Truth Social post this morning, Trump also floated a significant policy reversal, the 20% reimbursement fee on cargo transiting the strait, which he had announced Monday as a way to recover U.S. military costs, would not be implemented. Instead, Trump said Gulf states would make trade and investment deals with the United States to cover the cost of the security operation. That reversal is notable. Trump had framed the toll as a logical extension of the user pay principle. If the U.S. military is keeping the strait open, the countries that benefit from it should pay for that protection. Critics, including Secretary of State Rubio, had previously said no country has the right to charge fees on an international waterway. The reversal suggests the administration recognized the optics problem of doing exactly what it condemned Iran for doing. In his Truth Social post, Trump also paid tribute to the military operation itself. Oil is flowing like never before, thanks to the awesome power of the United States military. The reality, given that 2 supertankers were just struck and a blockade is being reinstated, is more complicated than we had previously mentioned. Craig, let's take stock of what Tuesday morning looked like in the Strait of Hormuz. 2 civilian supertankers struck by Iranian missiles. This is becoming very commonplace. It seems like every single day. 1 mariner is killed. That is new. 8 wounded. The United States reinstating a naval blockade. Trump walking back that 20% toll he had announced 24 hours ago, and Iran vowing a devastating response to any strike on a suspected nuclear site. Is there any version of this morning's event that looked like 2 sides moving toward a diplomatic resolution? Or does this look like more escalation?
Heck no.
Yeah.
This thing is just going to keep going, and I just wish we'd finish the job. It's more and more, you're seeing it all over social media. Just go in and finish the job. Level the place. Do what you got to do. Hit their nuclear facilities. Hit their bridges. Hit their power plants. Drop thousands of guns all over the place, airdrop them in. Mm-hmm. The Kurds this morning were on TV saying they want to attack Iran. They want America to help them out. I mean, Lordy mercy, let's just get it done and move on. take out the IRGC, whatever it takes. Take out the IRGC.
Yep.
It's just. I'm so tired of it.
I agree. I agree.
I'm so tired of this. I'm tired of them, Trump saying and everybody else saying a deal's close. Then immediately, the IRGC says, "Heck no, it ain't.
No deal."
I mean, what's the point? And I think Trump's tired of it, and that's why we've been bombing the last several days. I don't know why we don't bomb them during the daytime. They got nothing to shoot back at us unless they just see us.
Yeah, there's.
I don't
really
know why
no
it's always at
reason to.
night. I don't know why it's always at night. Just wear them out.
Yeah. Well, alongside the tanker strikes and blockade reinstatement, a separate and potentially more consequential development emerged today. One we just mentioned, a senior Iranian security source told CNN that Iran would deliver what it called a devastating response if the United States strikes a site known as Pickaxe Mountain. In Farsi, it is called Kuhi Kalong. There you go.
Good job.
There's your Farsi for the day.
Yeah.
Pickaxe Mountain is located approximately 1 mile south of the Natanz nuclear complex in central Iran. Something tells me if they're saying, don't hit this site, that's the site that you want to hit.
That's their
They're like the worst.
Yeah.
They're like teenagers. They're like teenagers trying to hide something.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever you do, don't go in my room.
Yeah, if you do, we're going to devastate you. I don't know how the heck they're going to devastate anything, because General Raising Cane this morning called them Boston whalers is what they're using on the Straits of Hormuz. So if you know what a Boston whaler is, it's a 20-foot long boat with a center drive.
One step up from a John boat, right?
Yeah, center drive, yeah.
It was declared to the International Atomic Energy Agency in 2020 as a future facility for assembling centrifuges used in nuclear fuel production. Satellite imagery from earlier this year showed Iran actively hardening tunnel entrances at the underground complex. Why is that not blown up yet? I do not know. The Institute for Science and International Security assessed as recently as June that the site was still under active construction and not yet believed to house enrichment activities. If the United States were to strike Pickaxe Mountain, it would represent a direct attack on Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Big deal. We've already done that once.
I've got one idea on why they haven't hit them yet. They're going to let them spend all the resources and all their time, and right before it's done, then they're going to drop in bunker busters that penetrate. I watched a video on it the other day. 200 feet through solid rock. Yeah. And then explode and bust everything up. But that's what I think it is. They're going to let them build it, and then we'll destroy it and put them 2 years behind again.
Maybe. I mean, it's so tiring to get through all of it. But on the congressional side, Trump formally notified lawmakers via letter over the weekend that the strikes beginning July 7th represent military action consistent with his constitutional authority. Essentially, you'll love this, restarting a 60-day war powers clock. Politico obtained that letter. The administration now has 60 days, according to President Trump, to conduct military operations without a congressional vote. There is a separate development worth noting. Trump, when asked Tuesday about Graham's Russia oil sanctions bill, said, quote, I think they may be adding Iran to it. They may add Hezbollah to in honor of Lindsey. If Iran and Hezbollah are added to that bill, the legislative process and pressure on Tehran expands significantly, and Graham's final legislative act could become significantly.
Why don't we just do a siege on Iran? We're close to it anyway. Just lock everything down.
Yeah.
Lock the Caspian Sea down, lock the Mediterranean down, and the Indian Ocean side and the Red Sea side, and just end it. Be done.
Yeah. Well, a strike on Pickaxe Mountain would be a direct attack on their nuclear infrastructure. Again, I don't know why we're not going ahead and handling that, which is it's a different order of magnitude. But also now with this new 60-day window that Trump is claiming that he has, I'm sure Democrats are going to say that doesn't restart the clock. He's now floating, adding Iran and Hezbollah and Lebanon onto that group as well. I think there's a lot going on in that mix, but what isn't talked about and what we haven't touched on yet is Thursday night. Thursday night, the president is going to be talking to the nation about something completely different. I don't know if we'll get into it tonight, but you have a distinct possibility that he could announce then of what his intentions are with Iran. I don't know that he will, but he has the people to help.
I just looked up Pickaxe Mountain. It's a granite It's described as a hard granite mountain, and they're 280 to 330 feet down. So that'd be hard to hit with unless you just dropped 10 bunker busters in a row in the same hole like we did last time.
Right. Well, I mean, we are needing some new rock for the Kentucky Capitol that they are rebuilding.
That's correct. That's a
It'd be nice
good
to go
point.
ahead and get that from.
And it'd already be busted up.
That's right. That's right. Easy enough to put in however you want it. Well, I think we're going to see a lot in the next coming days about what the plan is. But I am like you, Craig. I'm exhausted with this. I want to just go ahead and end this. And I think a lot of the American public who didn't have an appetite for this to begin with want to see that as well.
But
Here's hoping that they actually do finish.
Yeah, it's not because of I'm for what we're doing, 100%.
Right.
But it's nothing but political. That's how they spin. I've watched hearings today. Watched hearings yesterday, and everything is political now. There's nothing jointly. The Democrats and Republicans don't do anything together anymore.
That's correct.
Zero. And whatever it is, they turn it. Let's see, it was a hearing today, and every time the Republicans talked, they talked about the issue, and it's only because it's a Republican Congress. And the Democrats, the second or third word out of their mouth was Trump. It had nothing to do with it was the FOAM Fed hearing today, his first hearing today, the new guy's first hearing today. And all they talked about was just Trump, Trump, Trump on the Democrat side, and then some other issues on the other side. And it was pointless. It was a 2-hour waste of time, 2-hour waste of my time watching it. And finally, I just said, the heck with it. It's just, we can't get nothing done because we are divided so much. And it's, if Democrats take over next year.
Well, the first word out of their mouth will be impeach.
You just might as well throw an anchor in the ground, and America's going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
For 2 years, we'll do nothing.
He'll be impeached 20 times.
He'll be impeached 20 times in January. He'll be impeached 20 times in January.
From the Strait of Hormuz to the United States Senate, where a new senator was sworn in today in Washington, and the story of how she got there is one of the more remarkable human chapters this chamber has seen in a while. At 2:30 this afternoon, Darline Graham Nordone, you and I were talking earlier. It is spelled Darline. Everybody that we've heard has pronounced it Darlene, so that's what we're going to go with. If somebody wants to correct me in the comments or in the chat, feel free.
They said it on TV all day today.
Yeah, she was sworn into the United States Senate from South Carolina. She is the first woman to hold that office in the history of her state. The appointment came Monday afternoon in an emotional press conference in Columbia, where Governor Henry McMaster announced his choice of the late senator's younger sister to fill the vacancy created by Lindsey Graham's death Saturday night. McMaster spoke at length about Graham's life and service before delivering the central line of his announcement. Lindsey took care of his little sister in years long departed. It's my honor to ask his little sister to finish the work for him now. Darline Graham Nordone stepped forward and simply said, Lindsey has always been there for me, and now I'll be there for him. The backstory to those,
it was quite emotional.
Yeah. The backstory to those lines is one of the most striking personal histories in American political life. Lindsey Graham and Darlene's parents died, and Lindsey Graham raised her. And so that is where all of this comes from. Helped put her through college, supported her her whole life. Now she is taking over for him. Your thoughts on Darline Graham taking over the seat?
It's what a brother should do.
Yep.
You know, your headline there says she was 13 when he became her legal guardian. I think he was 21 in the military, JAG officer. And he said the mission in his life now is to take care of her. I'm going to be her parents. I'm going to be her brother. I'm going to be her all. And he did it. If he had won president in 2016 when he ran, he said she would be among 2 or 3 people rotating as the acting first lady because he's not married. And this ain't the first time this has ever happened. There's been family members.
Oh, I saw a list. I saw a list earlier today that had 30 different Democrats.
It's not abnormal at all that this has occurred. And some have gone on to serve as long as their husband or wife did.
Yeah. Dingle in Michigan.
Yeah.
She served just almost 10 years, I think now.
Yeah.
Debbie
And her
Dingle.
husband, John Dingle, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly,
Yep.
he died suddenly also. And
He did.
they appointed her, and she's been there doing what she does, and they keep reelecting her. So
yeah, he took legal guardianship of her when she was 13. He put law school on hold. He later adopted his sister so that he could handle the legal aspects of it.
Yeah, the military benefits will take care of her.
Correct.
Hospital and all that stuff. So it was a good move by him. It's a good choice by the governor. I don't know who else you could get to hold the seat for 6 months.
No.
Till the election comes. She's not going to run as of today.
You
never know what's going to happen down the road, but she's not going to run. And another fact, since 1950, South Carolina's only had 2 senators, Strom Thurmond and Lindsey Graham. That's pretty darn amazing. 75 years. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable.
Well,
to have a lineage of only 2 people over 75 years.
Kentucky was almost there between Mitch McConnell and otherwise. I don't know why my children think it's a good time to call me, but Emma, I'm not available.
My wife texted me right when you was going on there, so that's what I was looking down on.
Before her appointment, Darline Graham Nordone served as commissioner of the South Carolina Commission for the Blind, a position she has held since 2019. She holds degrees in sociology and rehabilitation counseling. She has devoted her entire career to public service on behalf of people with disabilities. She seems like a really great woman.
Yeah. If you work in that field, you got to have a heart about that big.
Yeah.
To work with handicapped people.
Sounds like she might be that person. With Darline Graham Nordone now seated through January 3rd, Republicans have restored their working majority on the Senate floor, though the combination of her placeholder status and McConnell's continued absence from the Rehabilitation Center, if that's where he's at, means the caucus is still managing thin margins on any closely contested vote. The long-term disposition of Graham's seat is now a separate political story. Under South Carolina law, the Republican Party will hold a special primary election on August 11th to determine who appears on the November general election ballots less than a month away as the nominee for the full 6-year term. The filing window opens July 21st and closes July 28th. 1 week, the winner of the November general election will face Democrat. Whoever wins the primary will face Democrat Annie Andrews. The field on the Republican side is beginning to take shape. Mark Lynch, who ran against Lindsey Graham in the Republican primary earlier this year and lost, announced he is running and said he would invest $5 million.
He's a rich guy, right?
Yeah, he is. Representative Nancy Mace, who lost her bid for the Republican gubernatorial nomination in June, remains strongly considering a run and is believed to be the most prominent name currently weighing the race.
She turned on Trump. She'll never get his endorsement.
Yeah, Governor McMaster himself has been floated as a potential candidate who is 79 years old, I think.
That ain't going to happen.
He is term limited as governor, and Trump specifically praised him on Meet the Press Sunday morning. Whether McMaster enters the race will be one of the first significant signals about the shape of this field. The filing window next week is the watch date.
If he did it, Republicans would get killed. Putting a 79-year-old man to go up against in the Senate, he'd lose. He would lose badly.
Yeah, that would be a bad choice all the way around.
And I've not seen anything that said he wants to do it. I think he's going to retire and ride off into Myrtle Beach.
I am hoping someone is talking to Trey Gowdy. That would be the most logical choice for this people of South Carolina, unless there's something that you and I just don't know about.
He would be awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. He walked away from the House but like you said, the Senate is something completely different. Lawyer, former prosecutor, just all around good American.
There's only 100 of them,
right?
And you can almost name. Well, we could probably name 75 of them. I don't know. I couldn't name all 100 of them, but you could recognize all 100 names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Immediately know they're a senator.
Yeah. Well, the field will clarify in the next week. Obviously, we will let everybody know who's running and how, what the positions are and what it looks like. Obviously, we will be here to report what happens afterwards as well. I think you and I should maybe go on after the Thursday night presidential discussion.
Oh, the address? Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I think people are going to be That's going to be the only thing people are talking about on
That's a
Friday.
good idea, and that would be. We wouldn't put no spin on it if he says something stupid.
We'll tell you that it's
We'll tell
stupid.
him he said something stupid. I
Yeah.
mean, if he gets ridiculous. I mean, I've seen reports that he's going to talk about the 2020 election.
That's what it sounds like.
And God Almighty, let it go.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the presidential election. It's apparently going to be about the 2 senators as well.
Right. In Georgia. But, I say let it go. But then in the Senate and House hearings, a lot of time the legislators, when they're trying to confirm somebody, the first question this one particular representative asked is, did Trump win the 2020 election?
Yeah. And they consider that a means to disqualify people.
That's their litmus test, and they're not going to vote. That lady's not going to vote for him anyway. But it's just, they're not even answering it anymore. They're just kind of staring at her.
Yeah. Well, getting to some news tonight.
It's Hirono out of Hawaii.
Hawaii. Yeah. And we move now to a story that's playing out in the state of Maine, and not the one that you think.
Jim's going to bed.
I saw that. There you go. I guess I'm going to bed by myself later. So
Teresa will already be asleep at 9 o'clock, so that's normal for us.
This next story is not. We'll get into the Maine politics, but this story out of Maine is a story that touches on immigration enforcement, the conduct of federal agents in a community in Bidford that is still trying to understand what happened on a residential street Monday morning. At approximately 7 o'clock Monday morning, a federal immigration and customs enforcement agent fatally shot a 26-year-old man during an enforcement operation on a residential street in Bidford, Maine. The victim has been identified by immigration advocacy groups as Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero, a Colombian national. He was headed to work when the shooting occurred. He was authorized to work in the United States. He had been issued a Social Security number. He leaves behind a wife and a child. Here's what ICE has said. Agents were conducting targeted surveillance at the last known address of an individual with a final order of removal. It was not this gentleman. That person departed in a vehicle. An officer fired his weapon, ICE says, fearing for public safety. The Maine Attorney General's office said initial reports indicate the subject attempted to flee in a vehicle in the direction of the officer and was fatally shot. Here's what makes this story significantly more complicated. Senator Angus King of Maine spoke with Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullins on Monday morning and was told initially that the man who was shot was the intended target of the warrant. But
approximately
3 hours later, Mullen called King back and corrected that account. The man was not
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
He wasn't riding off into the desert.
You're going to get blowback. You could have said anything, and good on Markwayne Mullen for coming back and telling Angus King, who is the junior senator, but still the senator of Maine, someone who does not caucus with the Republicans.
He's independent. Yeah,
he's an independent, but good on Markwayne Mullen for owning up to this. The man was not the intended target. He was not the person ICE was looking for. DHS, in its formal statement, did not use the word weaponized in describing what the vehicle did, a notable difference from the language King and Mullen used in their first conversation. The agents involved in the shooting were not wearing body cameras. No bueno. King said on CNN, quote, "We haven't seen evidence suggesting the officer feared for their safety or the safety of others," end quote. An investigation has been opened by the FBI and the Maine Attorney General's office. The shooting officer has been placed on administrative leave, as they always are. But it sounds like this one might be a little worse than previously detected. Craig, let's be precise, because that's what we do here on this channel and on this show. The victim was not the intended target of the warrant. That is confirmed by DHS Secretary Mullen himself. It was authorized to work in the U.S. with a Social Security number. The agents were not wearing body cameras. The DHS account says the car moved in the direction of the officer, which is the standard threshold for use of deadly force in vehicle encounters. But Mullen's first account to King was wrong, and he had to call him back to correct it. And let me say this. He didn't have to call him back. He did call him back.
And most wouldn't do that.
Yes. How do you assess the credibility of what we know from the government right now? And what does a fair investigation have to answer, knowing what you know?
It's too soon.
Yep.
It's too soon for any of this. This is the initial emotional reaction. I'm sure people on that street have Ring doorbell cameras or some other kind of camera at their door. Somebody's got a recording of it. Like, remember the one up in Minnesota where that woman tried to hit the officer? You didn't have no video. Everybody's going nuts until the video comes out. Then there's different angles of the video. And same thing here. No point of commenting on what happened because we don't have a clue. There's not enough information out there. It's all speculation. It's all emotion right now. So,
well, and you and I have said this before. If a law enforcement officer, whether he's state, local, federal, if they mess up, then they need to be punished.
And most times they will be.
And most times they will be. But regardless of whatever anybody says, there are facts that point that happens. But I will say this: if he took a random shot at a dude that wasn't the individual that took it, that's a problem, and he should probably be punished.
And then the other side will say, one, why did he run?
Yep.
And two, if there's video evidence of him driving the car at the officers, why would he do that?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you got to be told if you're pulled over by the cops, put your hands on the steering wheel, put your hands out the window, and just comply.
Yep. What's up, Otis? Good to see you, man.
Yep.
This is not an isolated incident, and unfortunately, we don't live in a vacuum where we don't think about everything else that happened. The Guardian newspaper reported last week that there was another shooting, and also said that there had been 10 fatal shootings by federal immigration officers since President Trump began his second term. An elevated pace of historical standards. The Bedford shooting.
Four. Isn't it really just four?
Yes. There's been 10.
The Guardian is a rag.
Yeah.
It's the National Enquirer for England.
The Bedford shooting came within days of a separate fatal ICE shooting in Texas, where they're counting the people who were shot in Chicago, I'm sure, when they were doing those raids as well.
Sure, why not? That's what they're good at.
The Bedford shooting came within days of a separate fatal ICE shooting in Texas, where an agent killed Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, a 52-year-old Mexican man who had lived in the United States for decades during a traffic stop. In response to both incidents, CNN reported Tuesday that ICE has received an internal directive to pause most traffic stops until further notice. You're going to love this. Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, condemned the Bedford shooting directly and publicly, posting on X that it was murder of a Colombian, a Latin American, at the hands of the U.S. government.
Yeah, how does he know?
Yeah, and that they killed him for believing him to be inferior without rights. That's obviously not true. He said he expects to hear from President Trump about the incident. Keep waiting, buddy. There's other things going on. The Colombian embassy confirmed it is providing consular assistance. In Maine, the political fallout has been immediate. Senate candidate Nirav Shah held a press conference outside Senator Susan Collins' office in Bedford today. The shooting happened a couple of blocks away. Collins herself issued a statement calling for a full and impartial investigation and said DHS Inspector General's office in Boston has taken over the investigation in cooperation with the FBI. Hundreds of protesters gathered in Bedford for a vigil Monday night. The community marched through the streets singing, in the words of one participant, "Our love is stronger than our fear." Craig, ICE is pausing their traffic stops after 2 fatal shootings in less than a week. Colombia's president is publicly calling for the Trump administration to do something or the other. Susan Collins, who has a specific vote coming up and has voted previously to fund ICE operations and ICE in general, DHS as a whole. Now she's being questioned about that in a contentious race. How do you think this shakes out?
Well, I checked on the number of ICE killings, lack of a better word, during the entire Trump administration. It says 8. Not did the
Guardian said 10.
They say 10 this year or during the Trump administration?
During the Trump administration.
Okay, so I got 8. So there. Okay, so it's in that area. Ask me the question again.
What do you think? What do you think ends up happening now that Susan Collins, who is an important vote on DHS funding? How does this shake up?
Nobody will give a crap about the Colombian national that was killed. It'll be all politics. It'll be used against her because she's a Republican, even though she's really a rhino. She's a votes Democrat too often. but it'll just be a political thing that they'll bash the Republicans for, and they won't show no care or love for that guy's wife and child or
They're
children.
pawns. They're
Yeah,
pawns in the political
there
game
you
at this
go. That's
point.
correct. They're just pawns. They don't care. The Democrats are probably going, "Ooh, yeah."
Oh
We got
yeah,
nothing else
100%.
we can go
Just
after
like Otis
Republicans
says here. Otis says here that it's Democrats telling them to fight the
for. Yeah,
ICE agents, and,
it
and
is.
it goes back to the Maxine Waters thing from years ago. If you see him
I've
out
got that video.
if you see him in restaurants, you see him in stores,
Gas
you make their
stations, gas
life
stations.
hell. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got that video.
yeah.
That's in my archives.
It's deplorable in the sense that you know they are essentially saying attack these people, and whether they want to admit it, that she was asked later about
Well,
that and said, well, that's not what I meant, but those are the words that came out of your mouth, whether
words,
you meant it
and
or not.
what's Democrats famous for saying? Words have meaning.
That's right.
We can't interpret what they say. We can go by what the actual the words used in their statements, and that you can't go around that. But this will be nothing but politics. The family won't be cared for. The Colombian president, he's a pretty good friend of Trump's, I think. He's got to do his right thing as the president of Colombia. I understand that, but this will be nothing but politics, and they won't care for this guy's family a lick.
No, and that's the worst part about it is
And
that
if the officer's guilty, throw him in jail.
absolutely.
I don't care.
You don't fire off a shot unless your life is threatened or the life of someone else.
Yeah.
And if that happened,
yeah,
and I know this to be a fact. My cop friends, some of who are probably watching this show, they know, and they would tell you if some cop acted recklessly, charge him.
Yeah, because it reflects on the whole department.
That's right. There's something to be said about the thin blue line, but when it comes to when they act wrong to a person, they will say.
But you cannot say they cannot defend themselves.
No, you can't do that.
If they think somebody's coming at them, what are you supposed to do? Wait till the car gets 1 foot away, and then draw your weapon. I mean, I don't know. It's being a cop is such an honorable duty, and you cannot win in any situation. Doesn't matter if you take 50 puppies out of a tree and one thing goes, the press spins something wrong, all them 50 attaboys are gone.
Yeah.
It's a tough job. I'm glad they do it. I'm glad Jeff Farmer did it. I had a heck of a time working with those guys at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and they did a whole lot of good. But one didn't.
They're the first ones. They're the first ones to call them out on it.
Yep.
And we will stay in Maine because things are getting crazy in the state of Maine. You and I were actually talking about this last night and today because the convention to replace Graham Plattner is now 12 days away. 7 candidates are in the race so far. And the delegate selection process is happening this weekend across all 16 counties. I guarantee you there will be video coming out of some of these counties.
I hope so. That's tonight, right?
Over the weekend, they're gonna elect all the people in each county.
Oh, the delegates. Okay.
16 counties, but there's 601. Delegates.
I don't even understand because, like in well, it could be there's 601 precincts.
Maybe.
In all of Maine. That could be what it is.
That's about 551 more than you'll be able to get anything done with.
Right. Yeah. In Kentucky, you get elect a male, a female, and a youth.
Yeah.
So that's 3 for 1.
That's not what you're going to have here.
Yeah.
Guarantee you're going to have 1 communist, 1 Democrat, and maybe a Green Party member.
Yeah. It's they're already split. Reading all the Maine newspapers and watching.
Oh, they're so wound up. It's going to be great.
The DSA people got their guy.
Yeah.
The old-time Democrats got their guy, and there is no budging. So the old-time Democrats are going for the 50 and above. The DSA is going for the 30 and below. It's going to be that's why I hope it's on TV.
This reminds me, we'll talk about the story in depth here, but this reminds me of brokered presidential elections back in the 1800s. James Garfield famously became the president of the United States because they couldn't decide between whether Grant was going to come back and run again or what was going to happen. And so it was a brokered convention.
Yeah.
That's exactly what is going to happen here.
And then back in the day, we didn't vote on senators; they were all appointed.
No,
Correct?
yeah.
Do I remember that correctly?
The legislature did it up until
Yeah.
the 70s.
So it's not that common, but it's going to be. It's I just hope it's on TV because
Well, I know
there ain't no sports on. There ain't.
Listen,
no TV.
it's gonna be such good TV. There's no other word for it. The Maine Democrat convention to replace Graham Plattner is set for July 25th in Bangor, and it's going to be a banger and banger. 11 days from now, 7 candidates have filed notices of intent with the state party. Former Maine CDC Director Nirav Shah, former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson, Maine Secretary of State Shinna Bellows, former gubernatorial candidate David Costello, former state representative notice former in all of these, former state representative Elizabeth Dickerson, congressional candidate Paige Loud, and former congressional staffer Jordan Wood. Candidates must collect 500 signatures with at least 50 from each of 8 of Maine's 16 counties. The deadline is tomorrow, July 15th. I have a feeling you'll see somebody else. Nirav Shah announced over the weekend that his campaign has cleared the signature threshold. Interestingly enough, he was able to do that.
He's the DSA candidate.
Making him the first candidate to officially qualify. His team called it a demonstration of grassroots energy. Okay. Shaw launched his convention campaign with a visit to Susan Collins' office in Biddeford today, tying his candidacy directly to the ICE shooting that has dominated Maine news since Monday morning. Jackson and Bellows' campaigns have not yet confirmed whether they have cleared the signature requirement, but both are expected to qualify this weekend. All 16 Maine counties will hold special nominating meetings to elect delegates to the July 25th convention. 600 of the convention's 601 delegates will be chosen at those county meetings. The final delegate is a state committee seat. All delegates are unpledged. The vote in Bangor will be the first time a Maine political party has ever replaced its general election nominee.
You think any fights will break out?
Yeah. I think there will definitely be.
Somebody will bring their black bear pity animal with them. I mean, the first 2 people you mentioned, the first one, that Najib or whatever his name is, he's the DSA guy. And the Troy Jackson is the Democrat, the Democrat Party of Maine wants. Yeah. And all those others, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
by then.
There is a great show on Netflix. Jen's actually absolutely right on Garfield. It's called Death by Lightning. If you haven't seen it yet, and you like history, it is a phenomenal short series. You'll like it. You can thank me later for it. There is one piece of data circulating.
Since you pointed it out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There is one piece of data circulating from this week that deserves a specific look, and it comes from an unlikely source, the Plattner campaign. Oh, God. In its final days, conducted a flash poll of the Democratic primary field against Susan Collins in a hypothetical November matchup. The results, Troy Jackson leads Collins 49-44. Shinna Bellows and Nirav Shah each hold a 47-45 advantage over Collins. Former Governor Janet Mills, who dropped out of the primary earlier this year, and Jordan Wood both test significantly behind Collins. 2 caveats worth noting, though. First, this poll was conducted by the Plattner campaign, not exactly a disinterested party. Second,
push poll.
Right, yeah. Second, any polling this early in a race, this unusual, should be treated as directional at best. But the directional read is significant. All 3 of the top convention candidates are polling ahead of Collins. I don't believe that. I don't believe it at all. I don't care what anybody says.
Just the poster says, "Thank you. I'm going to the Bahamas. I'll see you in August."
Yeah. Collins has not lost a Senate race in Maine in the last 24 years, 30 years, 1996.
Supposed to get destroyed last time.
Yeah, and won by 8 or 9 points or something.
Yeah.
Collins has not lost since 96. She has survived challenges from credible candidates multiple times, and she has the advantage of having watched the entire Plattner saga unfold from a position of complete strategic strength. I mean, she's just sitting back going, okay, your first guy's out. Who's this second person you're going to pick?
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense.
Who will be running for the U.S. Senate after receiving 0 votes.
Yeah, that's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. I mean,
Another Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Which the Democrats are really reacting to. They're trying to spin around that.
Well, it's all their own making. All of this is their own making.
Right.
That this didn't have to happen, but yet you held on to Graham Plattner so long that now you're having to do the exact thing that got you in trouble with the voters last 2 years ago with Kamala Harris, and now this is your Kamala Harris 2.0.
Selection, not election.
It's just it's unfortunate for the people in Maine, and I've been to Maine several times. They're wonderful people up there, and it's just an unfortunate situation. The Maine race is real, though. I think Susan Collins has this in the bag now. I could be completely wrong. They could have something come out against her, but whoever gets chosen this weekend or next weekend or whenever they end up having this thing, whoever's chosen, they better get ready, because Susan Collins and her team have the opposition research of champions. Like, they have done this decade after decade, 3 decades now, that they've had great opposition research, and they will drop it on whoever this is, whether it's a communist, whether it's a Democrat, whether it's a Green Party person. They better be ready.
Well, and I know the first question, did you support Graham Plattner in the primary election? That's it.
It was the selection of the...
But that's the first question.
Of course.
In any debate.
Yeah.
Did Susan Collins go, well, I didn't support Graham Plattner. Did you? And you can't avoid it. If you do, then that means yes.
Yeah. Well, we will move on from this. We will definitely come back to this story in future days. We move to a press freedom story that got a significant new development today, because not only is the New York Times reporter's grand jury appearance happening tomorrow, but the Pentagon just created a new task force specifically designed to go after the people who talk to journalists, and we will get right into that. The Department of Defense announced Tuesday the creation of a new joint task force with the Department of Justice specifically designed to identify and prosecute government employees who leak classified information to journalists. The task force will operate across agencies and will have access to personnel records, communication logs, and polygraph data in its investigations. The announcement comes on the same day that 4 New York Times reporters, Julian Barnes, Eric Lipton, Tyler Pager, and Eric Schmidt, are required to appear before a federal grand jury in Manhattan tomorrow, July 16th, in connection with their reporting on Air Force One security concerns during the NATO, I guess that would be Friday, the 16th. During the NATO summit in Turkey earlier this month, the subpoenas issued by U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton, just nominated to be Director of National Intelligence, require the reporters to testify about their sources. The Times has said it will fight the subpoenas on First Amendment grounds. In a separate but related development, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents seized the phones and electronic devices of journalist Max Blumenthal at a border entry point upon his return from a reporting trip to Iran. Blumenthal is the editor of The Gray Zone. His devices were taken, reviewed, and returned. The administration said the review was consistent with standard border security protocols for individuals who have recently traveled to countries of national security concern. So let us take stock of the pattern that is now accumulated around 2026. The FBI searched the home of Washington Post reporter Hannah Natanz in January. The DOJ subpoenaed the Washington Post. The DOJ subpoenaed the Wall Street Journal. Both subpoenas were later withdrawn. And now 4 New York Times reporters face a grand jury later this week. The Pentagon has a dedicated press leak task force, and a journalist device was seized at the border after a trip to Iran. You and I both said yesterday, Craig, we do not like the optics of this. We are all for freedom of the press. The problem that we have here is there is somebody within the federal government who is telling
the Trump administration. Yeah.
Somebody within the Trump administration that is telling these reporters things. And we're mad enough. We can be mad at the reporters, whether they report it or not. But the reason that the information is getting out is there is a leak inside the Department of Defense, potentially, where Pete Hegseth is now, has this task force. They have found these leaks before that have come through. And all these guys are doing are providing what they called a blueprint to the president, which to me, and you said this yesterday, that's treason.
Yeah. Well, before going on, people say, well, Trump's trying to kill freedom of the press. Well, just doing a minimal search while you were talking, this goes back to Woodrow Wilson. FDR did it.
Yep.
And the greatest president in American history, most popular anyway. I'll read an AP story because I didn't want to use the one from the Cato Institute. The Obama administration used the 1917 Espionage Act with unprecedented vigor, prosecuting more people under the law for leaking sensitive information to the public than all previous administrations combined. In 2013, the Obama administration obtained records of 20 Associated Press office phone lines and reporters' home and cell phones, seizing them without notice as part of an investigation into the closure of information about a full Al Qaeda terrorist plot. So don't be coming up and saying Trump's the first one to do this or all this kind of stuff. This has been going on for 150 years.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing that people don't remember is that reporters have been under investigation during Democrat administrations,
Yep.
Republican administrations, and it's not necessarily that they're trying to stifle the story. It's where is the information coming from within the government that becomes dangerous?
Spilling our secrets, because it is treasonous when you start spilling secrets on what our plans are. Like Obama went after the Al Qaeda people, and Trump's going after these leakers, which he campaigned on. So it's another campaign promise fulfilled. You got to stop running to the press to get your jollies. If you don't like the Trump administration, then quit.
Yeah,
it's that simple. But quit giving away America's secrets, because these newspaper reporters nowadays, all they want is clicks. They want to go viral. So it's clicks, clicks, clicks. I'll report anything, and even if it's secret and it could hurt our military overseas.
There's Albie. Albie's coming in. Hadn't seen him yet. Good to see you, Albie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them.
He got rid of, they went and eliminated. That's why you don't see any unemployment numbers. They don't say, well, during the Biden administration, all the jobs he created, probably 70% of them were government jobs.
Yep.
The Trump administration got rid of so many during Elon Musk's time there that the employee numbers were low, but it's because there were no job hires. There were job eliminations. But
position eliminations. A lot of middle management going on.
Yeah, right.
So, well, my take is that freedom of the press is important. We want freedom of the press. We agree that freedom of the press is, it is amendment number 1. It is that important.
National secrets.
But
do it
national secrets.
After the operation, wear yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to the protection of our military men and women, and to the protection of those in power, and you may not like President Trump, and if you feel that that's fair game, then shame on you, because we would never say that about a Democrat president or anyone else in power. We do not want bad things to happen to our leaders and create a vacuum. That is bad news.
Yeah, every administration except Biden did this since 2000.
Yeah. So, well, we are going to close tonight in the Commonwealth, and we are going to talk some sports. We've got some good things to talk about on both sides. You ready to get into it?
Yep, let's go.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
State popped up on that little video. Oh well, we'll have to fix that post. Kentucky football. Let's start on the football side of things. Matt Ponatoski has a decision to make by July 27th at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is not a small one. Ponatoski is a 4-star quarterback. In some areas, he was actually ranked as a 5-star. Signee from Archbishop Moeller High School in Cincinnati, one of the most decorated high school programs in the state of Ohio. He committed to play both football and baseball at Kentucky after Will Stein was hired as head coach, and he signed with the Wildcats. He's also one of the most coveted multi-sport prospects in the country. He won the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Ohio in both football and baseball in the same year. And last weekend during the 2026 MLB draft held in Philadelphia, the Cincinnati Reds selected Ponatoski in the 18th round, a little further down than they expected, the 542nd overall pick as a right-handed pitcher. The Reds view him primarily as a pitcher, despite the fact that he has thrown only about 30-plus innings at the high school level. The signing deadline for drafted players is July 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If Ponatoski does not sign by then, his path is Kentucky, where he should play both football and baseball for the Wildcats. And it's an interesting story. It's the most telling detail in this entire story. Panetoski told reporters that Will Stein sat him down and said, "If you get the number you want in baseball and you don't go, you're stupid." The head football coach at Kentucky explicitly told his own quarterback recruit to pursue professional baseball if the offer is right. This is either an act of genuine character by Stein, which apparently a lot of people are saying it is, putting a young man's best interest ahead of his roster needs, or to Stein being confident enough in his quarterback room that he can afford the luxury. Either way, it is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to tell this young man. But he's now going to get about $150,000, Craig, and that's nowhere near the kind of money you're going to get in an NIL deal.
Right. Yeah. He's looked up, see what 18. I was shocked. I had no idea they could get a $150,000 signing bonus in the 18th round. I thought it would be,
That's why tickets are $100 a piece to sit in the nose.
Right. Yeah. And no idea, but that's pittance to what he could be as the number 2 quarterback at UK.
Yeah.
Even number 3 quarterback. He still would make over $1 million. I don't have any doubt.
Yeah.
This guy is a true athlete, because Moeller was massive when I was in high school in the 70s. Everybody knew who Cincinnati Moeller was. My 1 year at UK, my roommate was the starting center on Cincinnati Moeller. He was a big dude, and he couldn't play for UK. He walked on and got cut.
Yeah.
But they're a big program, and so any quarterback for Kentucky, and blonde-haired, blue-eyed. How tall is he, Kyle? Is he 6'4"?
I think he was 6'4", 6'3" or 6'4". I can't remember.
Okay, so he's got great NFL quarterback height, and
about as tall as Knox Barrett. Not to tout on Franklin County.
Okay. Hey, that's all good, but
right.
$150,000 signing bonus as an 18th round, going to single A or pre-single A, whatever they call that nowadays.
They'll send him to rookie summer ball after this.
And riding around in buses, hot buses and stuff, versus flying private jets. I mean,
and being a stud.
Yeah.
At UK.
Yeah.
Multi-sport stud.
Pretty easy. Now, of course, on the flip side, you got to weigh the money, because he could get hurt in football and that could end his baseball career.
I don't think
Look at Bo Jackson. Look at Bo Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a hip injury that took so much away from us as sports fans. But Alvy, to answer your question, doesn't sound like it's anywhere near the amount of money that Kentucky will be able to offer this kid.
Contract, the $150,000 is the max they can do.
Yeah. So
up to $150,000,
and he'll get per diems, and he'll get a bunch of stuff. But you're talking about making $30,000 a year, on your per diems and everything else. Still riding those hot buses.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize that Jordan did it for 2 summers, but no.
He did it for other reasons.
Yeah, we all know what those reasons were. Craig, Will Stein told his quarterback signee in so many words, take the baseball money if they offer it to you. The Reds, took him in the 18th round, which historically means the slot value is somewhere in the low 6 figures. And in fact, we know that it's going to be 150 or less.
Yeah.
Panetoski said his heart has always been in professional baseball. He said, and I'm quoting here, "I want to be a professional baseball player as fast as possible. The question is whether the Reds' offer is worth walking away from. What would be a significant NIL opportunity playing football at Kentucky, competing for the starting job and playing for the Batcats? If you're Panetoski, how do you make the decision at this point, if it's anything other than just..."
But he won't get on the field as a football player. Do you agree?
He's not this year.
Not this year. So he can do football, but he can play on baseball. And UK's had a pretty darn good baseball team the last 5 years.
But he can make that football money on top of that.
He can make football money, still play baseball, and then go pro, because Danny Ainge did it too. Go pro baseball. Let him get a year in the SEC baseball, see what he really does. That will help him make his mind up whether to stick with football or to stay with baseball. If he gets a year or 2 under him at UK baseball, then he could be drafted again in the 6th round or the 2nd round. And then you're talking $1 million signing bonus, and you're going straight to AA right out of college.
Yeah.
You'll spend a few weeks in single A But when they're paying that kind of money, they move you up to AAA pretty fast.
Alvy says my dad in 1947 got $50 a month plus room and board offer from the Orioles. He joined the Merchant Marines.
Yeah.
But funny story. My grandfather in the 40s got a similar offer from the St. Louis Cardinals. And he decided to go work for Industrial Brown Hoist in Bay City, Michigan. The rest is history. He became the assistant plant manager and had a great career there. But he got a very similar offer, Alvy. So I know that to be true. And times were a lot different back in the 40s when these guys were trying to make it.
Now there's so many opportunities, but I think the correct course of action would be come to UK for a year or two and see what Major League Baseball offers after that, where his draft is, because he'll have an agent then.
Yeah.
At UK, and they can tell him where his draft position will be, and it's significantly higher the closer you get up to the first round.
Oh yeah, I mean you're talking millions of dollars versus just barely six figures.
Quite a few multiple millions of dollars.
Yeah, some of these guys may never even play a game, but they have generational money just from. Well, one story to go, and it's the kind of recruiting news that makes Big Blue Nation sit up a little straighter. We'll get right into that right now. Mark Pope already has five-star forward Ryan Hampton committed to a 2027 recruiting class. Hampton is one of the top wing prospects in the country. Now, according to reporting yesterday from On3's Joe Tipton, one of the most plugged-in basketball recruiting reporters in the country, Pope may be in play for something significantly larger. Aiden Diggs is the number 2 overall prospect in the 2027 class. He is a 6'5" shooting guard from Millennium High School in Goodyear, Arizona. He has just now reclassified from the class of 2028 into the 2027 class in May after Kentucky extended him a scholarship offer following the Nike EYBL session in Memphis. At that event, Diggs averaged, get this, 22.8 points per game on shooting splits of 55% from the floor, 69% from the mid-range, and 86% from the free throw line. That's what you like to hear.
Yep.
Those are not normal numbers for a 16-year-old kid. In 2 EYBL sessions, in 2 EYBL sessions combined, he is averaging nearly 20 points per game. DeMarcus Henry is the number 4 overall prospect in the 2027 class, a 6'7" forward from Charlotte, North Carolina. Henry and Diggs are teammates on the Vegas Elite EYBL circuit. That's where this connection is. Yeah. Tipton's reporting yesterday revealed that Diggs is exploring this possibility of teaming up with Henry at the same college program, and Kentucky is on that short list of both of them. If you want the lineup, Hampton at the 3, Henry at the 4, and Diggs at the 2. 3 5-star players in a single recruiting class. The Rivals 300 update that dropped today has multiple Kentucky commits maintaining or improving their rankings. The program is building, Craig, and that's something.
Ryan Hampton.
What's that?
Didn't they drop him down to 20?
You're in the top 20 as opposed to the top 10.
Top 3, yeah.
The program is building. The question is whether Pope can close on the 2 prospects that would make the 2027 the defining recruiting class. And if you have your top 3 recruiting class coming in, you have a little bit more padding. If you have,
it's contract. Well, if he does good this year, he'll get an extension.
Should.
If he does this year and then lands those guys next year, and they all play in 27, 28 season, you're going to Pope will be golden. And, of course, it all builds on itself. The more of these kind of recruits that show interest first, then if he can start signing them, then it'll build and it just keep piling on and more. He could be another John Calipari because, whatever you say about Calipari, that guy can recruit.
Well, one thing I'll ask you here, we have now the number 2 player with Aiden Diggs, and you also have the number 4 player who plays alongside Diggs. They're both exploring the same schools. Not every program will have the room. I'm sure they'd make room for these 2 guys that would come in. But it's interesting to note that another school on this list for both of them is BYU.
Wonder, from Arizona, So Utah's just up the road.
Yeah.
And Colin Chandler went back to Utah because he wanted to go back home. And the NBA players say Utah, there is nothing to do in Utah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they fly to Las Vegas every day they got off. But hey, who knows? Who knows what's going on? Maybe they're good Christian boys and
Good Mormon boys.
Maybe. I don't know. And
Problem now is the young guys can't hang with the 24-year-old bodies. Few can, nor many. I don't disagree with you, Albie.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. These guys who are hanging around because they can make $1 million, $2 million, staying here as opposed to playing in the G League.
Yeah.
Now, these are grown men that you're playing against 17-year-olds.
Didn't I read one of Michigan's guards has jumped in a portal and Kentucky's after him? Did I read that today? Well, I know I read it. I just know if you read it.
I did not read it.
Okay. It's a guard from Michigan. I saw it when I was cutting the yard today. And so I couldn't stop because I want to get done.
LJ Kayson has entered the portal.
Yeah, that's him. So is UK going to – what's he, a 6'5" guard? 6'4"?
He is 6'2" guard, averaged 8.4 points, 2.4 assists, and 1.9 rebounds per game while shooting 50% from the field and 40% from three-point range.
Yeah, we need shooters now.
Here's the thing. Kayson underwent surgery and is expected to miss significant, if not the entire 2026 season.
Okay, moving on. We're not doing that again.
Yeah. Good talk.
Last time I'll mention that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. But
that guy's dead to us, right?
Yeah, I was cutting grass when it popped up on my phone.
Yeah, well, it's something always good to have names. It's not always good to have ones that are, we don't know if they'll make it.
I should have waited till I had more information.
Well, it's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Now you have it. You can make an informed decision to not talk about that guy.
Exactly. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Well, I want to give Big Blue Nation enough permission to be excited, but we don't know much. We just know that there is a short list that meets both of these guys, and maybe they don't end up anywhere. We heard about Ryan Hampton and Marcus Spears, and they were talking about playing together. Obviously, that didn't happen. Marcus Spears ended up going to Texas after reclassifying.
His sister plays volleyball down there, though, right?
He does. His sister
They
from
threw
volleyball
a bag
team.
of money at him.
Yeah,
because that was quick.
Very quick, very quick. This is a little bit different. Aiden Diggs actually reclassified right after Kentucky offered him. A bunch of schools had offered him, though. But, there is a little bit of timing in there. And if these two guys do want to play together, we will make room for them.
No, ain't no doubt about it. And they'll love it. And we'll get half the NBA to call them, say, hey, come to Kentucky.
Yeah. The path to we both want to play together and them ending up at Kentucky is a long path. There's a lot of things that are going to have to fall into place. Sure. But it's nice to be mentioned because there's a bunch of programs that aren't being mentioned. The Villanovas of the world and the Floridas of the world. They're not mentioned right now. And maybe they make a big push for these guys. But, to be mentioned.
It's good for Pope to be in early. Because that's an improvement over year 1 and 2.
Yeah. And remember, a couple of these guys that he's going after were at that FIBA basketball tournament in Turkey. Yeah. And so it's good to be seen, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And Hampton has helped. That was people may not remember this 2 years from now, but Ryan Hampton signing as early as he did
is huge.
It is huge and may change the trajectory of our recruiting.
I think it does because it shows that a top player has got faith in Coach Pope to come to Kentucky. So that will crack the door open a little bit wider for these other guys, like we're getting looks now.
Yeah.
Now it'll be up to Pope to land the deal where Calipari is an expert at landing the deal. He could just go visit them one time and sell them and say, but I think I truly think that Calipari promised them starting positions and X amount of minutes every game to the detriment of the team while his last years at Kentucky.
It's entirely possible. I mean, you obviously never hear
how do you get Dillingham going at number 8 and Shepard going at number 3, and neither one of them starts?
Yeah, I mean,
that just
doesn't make sense.
That solidified my thought process on that the 3 pick and the 8 pick go the NBA 3 pick and NBA 8 pick go, yet they weren't good enough to start at Kentucky.
Well, it's not like we it's not like we made a deep run with those guys either. That's the other thing. It's like, it's not like you were putting them on the bench because you had two guys that were going to get you to the promised land.
Right.
We didn't get to the promised land, and perhaps our
Well,
two
it just
best players
shows
were
you
sitting
what
on
the
the bench.
NBA thought about those two players
Oh, 100%.
versus how Calipari used those two players.
Yeah.
And then
totally.
Shepard, you hear the Rockets, all kinds of trade possibilities, but the one guy you don't see in trades is Reed Shepard.
It's not.
I'm on, I think, 3 different Houston Rocket pages, and they love Reed Shepard down there.
Did they keep their coach?
Yeah.
Gross.
Ogabagaboo, however you say his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's.
But the fans don't like the coach.
Yeah.
They say he's holding some of the players back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was pretty clear in the playoffs.
Mm.
They were not prepared. Anything before we get out of here tonight?
No, I think it's been enough going on today, and let's do the thing Thursday night. I think that will be interesting as can be. What time's his address?
I think 8 p.m. is when he says.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, we'll check on it for tomorrow's show.
It's either 8 or 9. Yeah, it's either 8 or 9.
Yeah,
and
we'll check into that.
That will be fun because we will not give a Republican or Democrat.
Oh no. That
won't happen.
If it's silly, we'll talk about it. But we will also have some other. We'll go ahead and download the updated information that we have on the information that he's talking about that night too.
Yep.
That is going to do it for tonight. Craig, as always, can't thank you enough for always being here, being prepared, be willing to talk about things that aren't always fun to talk about, but it's always a little bit easier to have somebody here that we can bounce ideas and talking points off of. To everyone else watching and listening, thank you for being here. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you click that notification bell icon so that you are notified every time we are about to go live. And if you know anybody that also needs to be above the noise, go ahead and share this podcast with them as well. But until next time, we want you to stay informed, stay sharp, and stay above the noise. You all have a great Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us. See you later. Bye.